kudos to the panelists for an amazing discussion on how to become Tier 1 corporate suppliers. Don't forget to download the resources our speakers and sponsors have left just for you in our event hub. Now, you can't miss this next session. Welcome to the Clubhouse, using tech to power your company's growth. I'm excited about this session for two reasons. One, tech education for small business success has always been my passion. And two, this session is moderated by yours truly. So today we have two amazing panelists who I know are going to drop a lot of knowledge buckets on us today. First up is Leah. Leah is a mompreneur who created notable brands in the digital space, such as Black Girls Do, celebrating Black women in action. And now she's using her creative talents to help small businesses, brands, and influencers alike by teaching them how to create authentic content to attract their ideal consumer through her content management and creation businesses. Leah, welcome. I hope your day is going pleasant. Is it? How are you doing today? I'm doing well. I'm so thankful for this opportunity. Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Leah. Our other panelist is Brandon Pitts, who's the founder and CEO of Play One Up. How are things in your world, Brandon?
Things are fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. You're welcome. So Brandon, why don't we jump right into it? I'm going to turn the first question to you. And as we said, Leah and Brandon, really, we're going to touch on Clubhouse, everybody, and kind of the second half, as it were, of our discussion today. And the first half, we're really going to go broad about tech in general and what that means. So I think question number one, let's dive right into that topic. We have a lot of entrepreneurs today who are leveraging their passions, their dreams to build companies, Brandon. What are some ways that you're seeing that they can leverage new tech platforms like Clubhouse to enhance their operations? Maybe they're looking to get new customers. And one thing all of us want to do is increase our sales efforts. Anything you're seeing, Brandon, that, hey, here's some things you may want to do, or maybe, Brandon, some things you're saying don't do when it comes to new technology. What do you say?
Yeah. I think, great question, by the way. I think Clubhouse is obviously a great new channel, to grow and build your business, a great new technology due to being able to communicate with multiple people, being able to, have a platform where people can come and learn more about your business and you can essentially educate your consumers. I also like Instagram as well. Instagram and Facebook provide some of the same marketing capabilities as well. I'm a fan of all three.
Yeah, absolutely. And Leah, what would you say, again, taking it up a bit, one level higher, that they say, I hate cliches, Leah, but the 30,000 foot view, let's say it wasn't a particular technology, but new technology overall. How do you use technology? What are you telling your clients when it comes to, hey, this is out, this is out, this is out, that's out, this is old, that's not old. What are you telling people how they can leverage that for their new enterprises? What should they think about?
The first thing that I do recommend is always going the old route of researching your ideal client base first and then studying their habits to see where they are. And then you could base how should you attract your clients from there. Then if you see that they're on Instagram, then you go where they are. But most importantly, just track their habits.
Awesome. And now, and why do you say that, Leah? What happens if a company says, you know what, we want to be all on this technology or that technology, and they haven't researched? What is the down thing that can happen? I'm curious. Why do you say that?
I say that because they can miss their client. They can miss revenue. If you don't know your client's habits, then you know that they wouldn't be on Instagram. So you shouldn't go to Instagram first. So really just knowing who your client is, your ideal client, will really put you in a place of knowing, okay, I can go to Instagram to leverage over there. And then you'll start to be able to produce the right content for them to get them to buy or purchase whatever it is that you're selling.
Yeah, Brandon, I think that's so powerful. Sometimes we don't focus, I think, enough on our customers. And I know this is not the customer experience panel, but I think what Leah said, Brandon, is important. So do you also find that sometimes the companies you work with, maybe they rush too much on using a technology when you're like, we don't have any customers there, or nobody in your target demographic audience cares about it? Do you ever run into that either with your own business or the companies you work with?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with our own business, we have to have a specific channels that we focus on to obviously connect with customers. And then a lot of the other companies that we're working with that are tournament partners, our partners, we have to kind of guide them and direct them on where the best place to find their community of gamers in the market too. So 1,000%, Leah's 1,000% head on. You definitely have to know your target demo, and then attack from there.
Thank you, Leah and Brandon, for this. I think 4 things I would just like to mention when I think about leveraging the power of new technology. I think one, I often tell people, try and test it. It really annoys me, Brandon and Leah, when people are like, this is best, this is best. You have to use this tool, you have to use that tool. I think it really depends on what you want to use or where your community's at. So I'm definitely a believer in try and test, try and test. That's 1. 2, I often tell people, be very cautious before you roll out new technology to everybody on your team. We have a team of 3 or 4. So whether it's a small team, 3 or 4 or 5, or a larger team, I just say, Leah and Brandon, be careful. You don't want to use the big dog as the CEO. You're saying, okay, everybody, we're going to use this. Well, maybe it doesn't work for everyone. 3, I often say, leverage technology that can grow with you. Of course, social media is quote unquote infinitely scalable, but we're talking about other technology, especially inventory or e-commerce or et cetera. Can it grow with you? Many people in our community, Leah and Brandon, they want free technology. And I'm like, I get free, you don't want to pay the $50 a year, $30 a month, but can that technology scale with you? And then lastly, really understanding that you won't get everything right. I think part of that experience of leveraging new technology is you're going to screw up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to get something that doesn't work for you. So before I go on, Leah, I see your nod there of affirmation. Brandon, Leah, comment on that. What are your thoughts on those 4 points I said?
You are so right. You won't get it on the first try. It literally, I started as a blogger first, then it segued into different digital platforms. But I was stuck for a while. I was like, how can I use this and gain traction? And so it took a while. It's like Rome isn't built over one period of time or overnight. So you literally have to take your time and be patient with the process. And then eventually people will see that you're consistent on your platforms. And then they'll start to follow, and then they'll see what kind of content resonates with them. And then you can kind of use them as the guinea pigs to like, hey, I may need to push more of that out there to get them to, attach to something else that I'm working on. So I definitely agree with that.
Awesome. It's like Leo, my wife she likes baking, baked goods and things. She'll take the spoon, hey, to our son or daughter, taste this. If the face doesn't have a smile, well, we need to go back to the drawing board. If everybody's like, well, we'll make more. So that's my example. But I think an old rule that still applies, know your customers well. And both of you have hinted on that, but I think really dial down to who are your customers. Leah, Black girls do. Brandon, he knows the whole esports gaming. So know your customers really well. We at smartestle.com, we know our perfect target audience, and definitely Black enterprise does as well. So that's my perspective on that. I think some rules are older, Brandon, and I'd like to know what you think on this, but I think we tend to have forgotten them. So sometimes it's good that we're reminded of the old rules maybe that we forgot. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like a lot of people don't have proper business etiquette and then wonder why their business can't get off of the ground, right? Like just having manners and not making everything so transactional. With me being a minority in tech, fundraising has been probably one of the most challenging things. And I have a lot of friends and other aspiring tech entrepreneurs. It's like, man, why is it so hard to raise money? And it's just, you just got to be exceptional, right? And so you got to be a step above the rest, and really, really work on your craft and really work on your story and really work on everything. You can't just wake up and think that the money's going to fall out the sky for you to, build your business. And so for me, I think that the old rules that should apply is, you got to outwork the work. You know what I mean? You got to outwork the competition. You got to really grind it out. You got to really network and have conversations and not just make everything transactional, but really build relationship and get to know people before you ask them for funding or whatever it may be that you want their help with.
Brandon, you are so true, so true. I was on listening to another Black Enterprise session. I don't remember exactly what it was, but one of the panelists and people who were talking, she's from a big $1 billion brand. She was saying that 2 things. She said that people come to me sometimes just saying, I hope I'm not treading on toes too much, but you open the door just a bit, Brandon. So I want to give some advice to our younger brothers and sisters here. They were saying, well, I'm Black and shouldn't you just take my resume or just hire me and she's saying, yes, I get that whole picture. I get that, but you need to be exceptional. You have too many typos, so I can't hire you. So I want to underline what you just said, Brandon, to that, be exceptional. Yep. And then 2, I think what you said is you have to be a cut above, right? Because you assume everybody's brushed their teeth that morning. We all doing that. But now what brings your A game? So that's what I'm hearing, Brandon, what you're saying. Leah, thoughts on that, this aspect of be exceptional and kind of be a cut above. Does that resonate with you, this rule of tech?
Yeah, you have to definitely be above the rest because there are a million yous. So that you have to have something that stands out. Whether you dot your I's, cross your T's, that's important when you submit a resume. The carelessness of it, because we live in an age where everything's scrutinized. So if you're not paying attention to details, I'm probably gonna say, I don't want you working for me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I want to turn the page. We're going to get to Clubhouse in a minute here, but this has been a great discussion about new technologies. And again, thank you all for joining us today with this amazing panel the Black Enterprise is doing. I hope everybody's tweeting and commenting and talking and etc. Within or without the platform. Hope you all who are listening to us today are doing that. Brandon, I'll turn to you first on this. The question is about tech-specific sectors and new business models. Clearly, it's not new, but it's a niche, big, but niche model, sports, right? Esports, gaming. What should people learn from you as they're looking for their own niches, whatever that could be? It could be a niche of supply chains. It could be a niche of female founders, which is very broad in itself, but help us understand why niches are important and why we're looking to tech-specific sectors, which you do so well. Can you unpack that a bit for us, Brandon?
Yeah, so great question, by the way. I think for one, there's a bunch of niches or verticals in every industry, right? And so, you only have so much time in a day, right? You can't focus on everything. Someone is good at someone is tries to do everything is good at nothing at all, right? And so, really focusing and nailing in on a niche is really critical because it enables us the ability to really focus and lock in and really accomplish our goals and solve the problem. What if I focused on computer games and console games and allowing people to do each and everything, which a lot of companies do within the esports space, I would spread myself thin. And so focusing on the niche and what it is that you really want to solve the problem for is super critical, man, because you can't focus on everything. So you got to really focus on something to lock in and drive and get to that sweet spot.
Yeah, for sure. And Leah, what about yourself? Again, you're in a whole nother sector focused on Black girls and empowerment. What can you share about your journey of kind of being focused on a particular sector, whether technology sector or demographic sector, but why is that so important if you agree that it is? And what can we learn from your journey doing this?
We more so focused on the demographics. And so when I started Black Girls Do Celebrating Black Women in Action, it's an event-based social club for Black women. We're doing a lot and we're going against the grain. We're, building community and really leaning on one another to be a resource. So I knew that I needed to cultivate these intimate events where we could have these transparent conversations. And so that's where my focus was and will still remain as into having these events. And then, I have to utilize Instagram and just the digital platforms in general, just to broadcast and say, hey, we have something going on. But this is the premise of Black Girls Do. I'm gonna put you in this environment where we're without technology and you have to rely on your sister. I am my sister's keeper. So you have to rely on the person next to you and say, hey, how do we get through this problem together? So just coming up with amazing events where we just have community, we just having conversations and really just enjoying each other. And also now it has become like an amazing directory of Black women all over the world. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what? I just want to do some events right now, but hey, we got a whole directory over here and you're doing this in Europe. You're a scientist, like, and you're even like, wait, Black women do that? And this is like crazy. So it's just really exciting.
I love that. You can hear the excitement in your voice. I think one thing that's also, Leah, that's very important, or that's a byproduct, a good byproduct of going niche, going narrow, is that everybody talks to everybody. Imagine, Leah, if you were saying, humans do, or just ladies do. And there's rules for that, of course. My point is, it's so broad. But I think the more narrow you are, I find that the word spreads faster. Are you finding that happens not in your sector, but even other sectors that, Seth Godin, a famed marketer, he says, people like us do things like this. So I think that principle, as you're going narrow, it's an opportunity to have a good virus spreading because people are chatting, people are talking, because different communities hang out together. Does that make any sense what I'm trying to convey there, Leah?
I totally understand. That's what gets the conversation going. And like, hey, I was on Black Girls Doing what's the platform? Forgot the platform.
It's okay.
Clubhouse, because we keep talking. I was like, Clubhouse. And you're like, we heard she does this and that, yes. And then I'm seeing a tweet, and I'm like, oh, what? Okay, so it's cultivating and having those conversations. I'm like, oh, getting it. Yeah.
For sure. Brandon, let's touch on the other thing before we move. We're going to move into Clubhouse. We have about 15, 20 minutes or so to go in this conversation, which is going so well, Brandon and Leah. Thank you all for being here. But Brandon, what about the aspect of, and I hope even I can ask this properly, but as you're going niche and you get solid in that, you get secure in that, you gain traction, you have customers, that possibly then you can scale up. You can open up a bit to touch on other problems that were complementary to where you started. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Kind of like, Amazon, right? They got warehousing or logistics for themselves. Then they said, let's open it up a bit. Are you finding that in your field as well, Brandon, or advising other, people that, hey, once you get this dialed in, you may see a need over there that's a bit different than you thought, but you can still help. Does that make sense what I'm trying to ask, Brandon?
1000%. Yeah, and that's a great point. So to give you an example, when you just gave another one with Amazon, Amazon started off with just focusing on books. They wasn't focusing on anything else but books for the longest, right? Then we start seeing them expand into other verticals in the world, and now they're you could receive an Amazon item via the mail same day, right? Like where else is that possible? Like with us, we started off focusing just on 1v1 competitions, meaning I can play someone else for $50 in NBA 2K or Madden from the comfort of my home. And that was just the niche that we focused on for the longest. Now we're expanding into tournaments and then allowing other people to utilize our technology and our infrastructure to kind of like host and curate their own tournaments and experiences. And so, I completely agree with you on the niche thing, man, but you got to really lock in on a niche, gain some traction, master that niche, and then obviously you want to evolve to kind of take up more market share within the market that you're working in.
Absolutely. Brandon, before we move on to the Clubhouse, and Leah, I want to see what you think of this. I'm an expert, Brandon, at getting bad ideas. So I have a bad idea for you. I think you should have a competition for the worst esports player and let me lead that. I think you should have a competition for the person who can't do esports, who can't hold a joystick, who can't play, who loses, who gets negative points. I think you should have that kind of competition and let me volunteer to lead it.
That would be dope. I would probably be in that competition.
Leah's like, I may join too.
I'll be in that.
My son would always get frustrated. Dad, I told you, whatever the console, X on the joystick means jump. I'd have to slowly look down and look at it. And by then the game would have moved on. So
we would be in that competition together.
I love it. I love it. All right. This is such a great conversation. Let's move on to specifically this new technology. Leah, I'm going to turn it to you first about Clubhouse. To set the stage here, Clubhouse is a relatively new, it's about 1 year, a little more than a year old, audio-only app which facilitates real-time, as of yet, no recording, real-time conversations. So you scroll through this thing, and some who are listening to us know it, but for those who don't, you scroll through this thing called a hallway, and you find conversations that could be titled, Black Girls Do, New Funding. It could be titled Esports, Should You Play Games Late at Night? It could be titled whatever it may be. Tons of titles, tech, non-tech, all kind of things. And it's audio only, and it's on fire. I've seen conversations with 10 people in a room, with over 1,000 people in a room. So let me turn to you first, Leah. Why is this platform on fire? Just give us a high-level view. Why are people paying attention to it so much? And what should the Black enterprise audience at a very high level know about this app beyond the short opening that I just gave?
Wow, so Clubhouse has done wonders for Black Girls Do, for me personally. It just has connected a brand to the brand awareness has grown. So utilizing this audio app, you get to connect with people who we've dreamed of being in a physical room with, and you get to hear them, and you hearing their knowledge instead of looking at the aesthetic. So I guess that's what connects, makes this platform so huge. Like, oh my gosh, I can really hear what she's saying or hear what he's saying. And then it's like, okay, they're sharing their knowledge. It's a knowledge-based app. And so you're learning and scaling your business at the same time. And so you're taking this wealth of information and you're just using it to the best of your ability for your own brands. Like I did what Black Girls Do. I literally saw it on, Facebook. And I saw someone was like, I got invited to a Clubhouse. I said, girl. So I'm like, all right, I'm hating a little bit though. I'm like, let me go research this.
Yes.
Oh, I said, I need to use this. So after I did my research, I was intentional about building this community and this space. and really just utilizing it to what I needed it to work for. I was like, where we're stagnant right now. So now I need to push it to create a bit brand awareness, but also have these conversations where Black women can just really be themselves and just really say, hey, I need help, or I'm going through this, and just being a resource of information.
I love that. But Brandon, let me push back on something Leah said. I would have her answer the question, but I'll have you answer the question, Brandon, because I know you can handle it. What's wrong with YouTube, Brandon? I mean, Leah's like, it's an app. She's all excited. Her business took off. But I could go on YouTube and hear Leah too. Why Clubhouse? I can hear that from YouTube. In fact, I can read a newspaper. I'm teasing a bit, Brandon, but so why Clubhouse? Why that such on fire, that dynamism? Why the excitement of Leah's voice when there are existing platforms?
That's a good question. I think to answer that question, I think real-time engagement, right? Like, I think that's super critical. You know, someone being able to raise their hand, ask a question in real time, and then everyone being able to, you know, kind of hear the question and the answer is just so informative, and it provides a great foundation for educating, whether that be on your product or on your community or whatever it is that, you know, that Clubhouse event or room is about. I think education is a key component of Clubhouse. I think communication is critical. I think building community, Clubhouse really enables you the ability to kind of accelerate and foster community. I think overall Clubhouse is a win, and numbers don't lie. If you kind of see their numbers from when, you know, about 6 months ago when we first really start hearing about them to now, it's been ridiculous. I mean, they're worth upwards of $4 billion now. You know, I remember just like it was yesterday, they were worth like 100 million when they raised 10 million at a $90 million pre-money valuation. You know, and so, you know, I love Clubhouse, and I love the way that, you know, they just rolled out a new program enabling some of their hosts, right? And their, you know, their room creators to essentially be able to monetize. And so I think what you're going to see is kind of like this new evolution of like on-demand, kind of like podcast, if you will, which is super, super critical. And there's so much you can learn by just chilling on Clubhouse, listening in, from Elon Musk being on there to Mark Zuckerberg being on there to a lot of people within our culture, Leah, as you know, being on there. It's just an inspiring platform, man. And nevertheless, it's a tool that people can use to actually grow and foster community within their business.
Indeed, Brandon,
Brandon did that.
Indeed, but he could have said, Leah, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Ramon. I mean, come on, Brandon, you could have. I mean, you could have.
Right.
Yeah, all of us, Leah, Brandon, Ramon. You know what I mean?
And yeah, you know. I'm just because Leah, why did you perk interest when you said learn? Because I agree with that. I mean, if you want to learn something, again, there's different platforms, different ways. But I think if you want to learn in real time, and as you said, Leah, ask a question. Why did you that smile get on your face when he said learn? Why is that so important to you?
The app is just full of knowledge. Like, I could literally, and these are people whom I aspire to, you know, have a bit or be like, or some way they inspire me. So to actually hear them just say, hey, this is what I did, and then seeing that in real life it happened. Because listen, let's say this first, there are a lot of imposters on Clubhouse. Do your research and see if what they're talking about is really real. Because if you've ever paid attention to Clubhouse, there's been issues, but definitely do your independent research. But just being able to like just learn, it's a learning app. And if you're not learning from it, I really believe that you're wasting your time. But definitely, I enjoy it. And I get to speak to different people from various backgrounds. We share similar interests, and I just get happy being on the app, and I'm talking, hey girl, hey, okay. It's just nice for me. I just love it.
I love that. Leah, do you hear that? That's the Black enterprise audience. Being cynical and getting ready to ask a question. I hear it because I have a sense for the Black enterprise audience. So I'm gonna throw you a political question, Leah. Are you ready for it? Political question.
I hope so.
And here's the question. I need to make money, Leah. I need to make money for my business. Learning is great. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Ramon. That's cute. I need to make money. So Leah, tell me, can I make money from Clubhouse? If I can't, Leah, I don't have time for you. That's the question.
You can make money anywhere. You just have you just have to know that this is a platform, a digital platform. So what are you going to do with the customers or the community that you're building on this platform? You have to give them some steps outside of Clubhouse. So you have to utilize text messaging. You have to utilize your emailing list. You have to give them something that they can grab onto and say, hey, I want to keep up with this organization or this business. You really have to figure that out so that you can take them off of Clubhouse, because we can talk all day, but now I need you to go buy some tickets. I need you to purchase a product. Meet me here. Meet me outside of the club. We inside now. I'm tired in the club. That's me outside of the club.
Got it. That is powerful. That is fire. So that's tip. Brandon, I'm going to ask you the same question. That is tip number one. Build the audience, add value, build it, and then give some mechanism, probably softer, a little gentler, not too hard to sell, but say, hey, if you want more of me, do this action. And we all call this in sales, right? CTA, call to action. Brandon, yourself, how can we make money from Clubhouse in some way, Brandon? For those who are like, hey, I don't have time just to be there and learn, which is good. What about making money? Is there anything for that to be done, making money from Clubhouse, Brandon?
Yeah, I think, that's great question. I think, for one, knowledge is power, right? So I never really seen a stupid person really making that much money, for one. Secondly, you got to network in order to earn. You got to foster community. You got to educate, right? So, I look at Clubhouse as a way to educate the consumer, right? You make money by, fostering community and fostering relationships. So the people that say, I don't have time to be on Clubhouse if I can't make money, those are the people that I was talking about earlier that are all transactional, right? They're not focused on building a relationship and then building a profit. They're just focused on, making a profit off of the back. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities within Clubhouse. I'm learning about it all type of stuff on there, from Bitcoin to investing to how to do different things different techniques in terms of building my business. So it all kind of intertwines and correlates to ultimately making money. It's just all about what you do with the information. I learned some multi-million-dollar tricks and secrets on Clubhouse that I've actually applied outside of Clubhouse to really help me super scale my business. And so I think that I just would encourage people to not be so narrow-minded and just focus on the instant transaction, but focus on building a relationship, fostering a community, educating your consumers, and the money you follow.
And relationship is everything. So important, Clubhouse or not. By the way, while we're at it, Brandon, feel free to give you the name of your, how people find you on Clubhouse. Leah, yourself. For me, those who are listening, you want to try out Clubhouse, your first time there, you can just search for Ramon Ray, R-A-M-O-N-R-A-Y, Ramon Ray. That's how you can find me on Clubhouse, and hit the little bell to be notified anytime I'm online or things I'm doing. Happy to connect with you. Brandon, what about yourself? What should people search on to find where you are on Clubhouse?
You can actually find me on Clubhouse. I'm pulling mine up right now, man.
Okay, cool. Leah, go ahead. You have yours right offhand?
No, hold on, Brandon. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait.
Okay, we'll come back to it in 2 seconds. We'll come back to it. Don't worry about it.
I got mine now for you. Mine is at Stay One Up. So
Stay One Up, got it.
Stay One Up, yeah.
Stay One Up, good. No, this is good. So I think that we can see, just to recap this, because I think Clubhouse is new technology, but I think it's building the relationship. Brandon said that, build the relationship, add value. And of course, first we learned, just be there to learn and connect with others. Don't forget to go to people's profiles as well to find out what they're doing, scroll through, read the profiles. And four, as Leah advised us, remember, be careful. There's some shysters on there like there are everywhere. So be careful who you especially connect with deeper. Like somebody says, DM me or I'll consult for you and meet me up. Be careful. And then five, as Leah said, you have to find a way to bring people off Clubhouse. Not in a bad way, but after you've shown value, hey, join my list, sign up for my texting, get my email, whatever it may be, go to my website, things like this. Leah, a follow-up question that I'll ask, and this has been such a great discussion. I'm so glad you all are here. I think is the aspect, there are so many tools, Leah. I think you know that of all. I mean, Brandon knows that as well. We got Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, so many out there. What arguably 8 to 10 top tools out there, would you advise the person who's wondering what to do, Leah? I can see the Black Enterprise audience shifting their head left and right. Wait a minute, Leah, I just learned how to use Pinterest. Wait a minute, Leah, I just did my first Instagram story. Should they now stop that, Leah, and put all their eggs to Clubhouse? Should they scramble and try to use all 8 tools, Leah? Give us a Leah mastermind 101 in about 30 seconds of what's your quick advice for the new person out there who's like, basically, does this mean I should stop everything else and go to Clubhouse? What's your broad advice?
Okay, so with our parents say never put your eggs all in one basket, you have to just try it out and see, and just have fun with it at first. Like, don't take it so serious. I know you want to make money, but definitely you have to learn the apps, and then you may find that Instagram is just too much for you, and Pinterest may be something that you can really just foster. So definitely don't put your eggs all in one basket, but try it out, have fun with it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I love it. That was powerful. That was a mastermind. That was powerful. Before we end here, I want to leave us some time for some last closing comments. Brandon, if it's okay, I'll turn it to you. Then I'll turn it to you, Leah, and I'll wrap up. But this has been such a great question. I'm saying thank you for all of you who are coming to this amazing Black Enterprise Summit that we're having today. But Brandon, what's 1 or 2, 3 words of advice that you want to leave with people? And feel free, while you're ending that, give us a website link real quick that we can follow up with you, those who want to be in touch with you.
Yeah. The first piece of advice that I would give is you never fail until you quit. The second piece of advice that I would give is keep the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing, right? So people tend to focus on this. They tend to focus on that. They tend to focus on too many things and spread themselves thin. You got to keep the main thing, man. You know.
I can't wait to read your book.
Yeah, and so in terms of the website, you could you could go learn more about our business and play one up and opportunities we offer gamers at playoneUp.com. PLAYONEUP.com, and you can find us on Instagram at PlayOneUp as well.
I love it. Leah, drop some knowledge buckets you already have, but take a brief minute to 1 or 2 tips or words of advice you want to leave us with in closing, and then feel free to give a website or anything else you want with how people can follow up with you after this amazing discussion.
All right, let me see what I could say. Just put a little bit of you into everything that you do. Like, if you put a little bit of you, you will never get tired of it. And also just literally just don't overthink it. Like, just have fun with it, and it'll show. And we'll be more prone to say, hey, I see it's not a job for you. This is something that you live. This is who you are. So, and then let me see, where can you find me at? Because Lord, I got so many websites in my head. It's like ding, 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 ding.
What's the IG? That's usually easiest for people. IG.
For Black Girls Do, it's at Black Girls Do. You can find us on Instagram. And then the website, I have to say super slow because it's super long. So it's www.blackgirlsdoseries.com. You can find Black Girls Do there. And of course on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we're on all the platforms. So just type it at Black Girls Do. If you want to find me, Living Leah, that's what I go by, or Leah Johnson.
Awesome. This has been such a great discussion.
One more thing.
Please.
I got a bonus for you.
Please. Okay.
Know what you don't know.
Oh,
know what you don't know.
Everybody know everything. In order to be successful, you got to know what you don't know.
I love it. Brandon, this is awesome. Brandon, thank you. Leah, thank you. My name is Ramon Ray. As I said, smarthustle.com. You can find me. Just check out RamonRay.com. But on behalf of Black Enterprise, Leah, thank you. Brandon, thank you. And I'm Ramon Ray, and we're so happy that you watched this session and check out the other sessions that are coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you.